Microsoft, Google, and Amazon are now the new competition, and they are all looking to acquire big name studios. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Thank you for stopping by. If you are new here and you enjoyed what you see throughout this video, I would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button to join this community and help this channel grow so we can have some awesome conversations in the comments below. But for now, let's jump into this. Rumors continue to swirl around the industry of more big name buyouts coming, and it looks like now we're starting to see competition between Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. Now, this really points back to last year when Phil Spencer said in an interview that he respects Sony, he respects Nintendo, but he doesn't really see them as their main competition now going forward, and he sees Amazon and Google as the main competitors. This all has to do with the streaming services. With Microsoft's xCloud, you have Amazon's Luna and Google Stadia, and now we can see here that Amazon and Google are really trying to push in order to get more developers to get more content onto their services. So we know that Amazon has Amazon Game Studios, Google is opening up a new studio, but they obviously want to acquire more developers in order to create more content for the services. Now, this all comes according to BWW Media Group's Brad Sams, who is a journalist specialized in Microsoft related news. In a new video, he talked about these acquisitions, and here is what he said. I've been hearing a lot of conversations behind closed doors about acquisitions in the industry. There's a lot of moving things going on right now. It's hard to see which companies are going to get snatched up and by what vendors, but I can tell you there are some big industry names out there being approached by Microsoft included, but then you also have Amazon and you also have Google. Sony is part of the conversation, but it doesn't seem to be as much as Google and Amazon are when Microsoft enters the fold. You also have EA. Look what happened with Codemasters, for example. So with EA and Codemasters, basically Codemasters got bought by Electronic Arts, and they kind of swooped in behind Take-Two and offered more money, and now that deal has gone through, and Codemasters, who makes games like the Dirt series, are going to be part of EA. Now, what is driving all of this is the fact that the games industry continues to thrive even through the pandemic. This is according to research by InvestGame that the value of mergers and acquisitions in the games industry has exceeded $22 billion in 2020. Now, this obviously includes the yet to be completed sale of ZeniMax to Microsoft and the sale of Codemasters to EA, which were the largest amounts since 2016. People are staying home. People are playing video games, and obviously that is going to drive the industry. When you have nothing to do other than to stay home, one of the biggest mediums in the world, being video games, is going to continue to grow. Now, Brad Sams continues to go on to talk about these valuations, continues to talk about the game developers, and saying really right now is a great time to be a game developer in order to get your company bought by one of these big names. The valuations of these mobile gaming companies are going up very fast as the industry is. I don't want to say condensing, but there are suddenly new players in the industry. You have Amazon and Facebook, who genuinely need new IP, and you have Microsoft, which is building up this gaming solution called Game Pass, and there are a lot of companies who are just being snatched up from under each other. Be on the lookout for acquisitions. I'm hearing a lot of things going on, and I know of 3 specific acquisition targets for various companies going on right now. So what could those 3 companies be? Well, a lot of people think that could potentially be Ubisoft, who is looking to be bought, could be CD Projekt Red after the debacle of Cyberpunk 2077. They want to be able to kind of save themselves. They know their reputation has been hit, so maybe now is a great time for CDPR to look to be acquired. Then you have a company like Warner Brothers with their gaming division. Basically, they wanted to sell it last year. They decided to keep it. We knew Microsoft was really looking into it, and maybe they're open to doing it again, which I think would be a massive thing if Xbox were to get that with the Batman IP. But it's very interesting to look at the landscape of the gaming industry now with Amazon and with Google in it. Now, me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of streaming. I've used xCloud and I think it works very well. And I also think that streaming services generally allow people to have access to games that they wouldn't able to have access to if they didn't have that console or high-end PC. But of course, you obviously need a strong enough internet connection for it to work. But if we're looking at Google Stadia, we're looking at Amazon with Amazon Luna, and then we're looking at Xbox with Xbox Game Pass with millions and millions of subscribers, lots of experience in the video game industry. They do a great job from what you can see online, what you read with their developers, by allowing them to continue to work in their culture once they've been acquired and to not really really get involved in their creative process and allow them to create the games that they want to create. I would be worried that if Amazon or if Google were to acquire some of these big name developers, that they wouldn't function in the same way. I have a bad feeling because obviously they lack experience in the industry, and just because of the companies that they are, they would really get involved. They would really try to monetize games as much as possible with tons of microtransactions and things like that. So if we're looking at these big name companies like Ubisoft, like Warner Brothers, like CD Projekt Red, and these companies are actually looking to get acquired and they're being bid on, I really hope that it is Xbox that gets them because of their experience. On top of that, I wonder what would happen if Amazon and Google actually acquired lots of these developers. Most likely they're going to lock their content to their streaming services, so you would have to sign up for another streaming service to play certain games, and it really is just starting to look like that Netflix model with all of the different competitors out there now for streaming shows and movies. We're going to see that going forward. And then you start to think about, what does this mean for PlayStation and what does this mean for Nintendo? Are they eventually going to have to make a subscription service for their games and for their services? I think eventually yes, but at the same time they still have a massive fan base for their exclusive content for Nintendo games, for Sony games, that people are willing to go out and purchase a PlayStation, a Nintendo Switch in order just to play a couple of those exclusives every single year. So I think they could still thrive off of that for now, but eventually they're going to have to get involved with a subscription service and maybe a streaming service down the road, because I think that's the way the industry is going. Microsoft saw this coming. They saw Amazon and Google being massive companies with all that money, that they are going to have to compete with them going forward. Or if they just want to continue to survive down the road, they know that these massive companies are going to be the main competition going forward. And Phil Spencer saw this, like I said in that interview that he had last year. He saw that Amazon and Google were the main competitors and that this was going to be the future of gaming. And I think Xbox has really set themselves up really well with Game Pass, with xCloud, and just with the variety of games on there and giving you the options to play anywhere on PC, on mobile, and on the Xbox console. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. What 3 studios do you think Brad Sams is talking about? Do you hope that Microsoft is the company that acquires these studios, or do you think that Amazon should or Google should? I'd love to hear all your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you are new here and you liked what you see throughout this video, you thought it was interesting and informative, I would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button to help this channel grow. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. I'll catch you in the next video.